Well, I thought the dolls in the dollhouse might like to have a loaf of spider-shaped bread for their Halloween table. Stay tuned and see how fun and easy this project is. All right, today we are making our spider bread like you saw in the intro. So I'm starting out, I've already portioned out my clay. I just used some of this bread clay that we've been using the last couple of weeks for regular white bread dough. It's 4 parts white clay and 1 part Fimo Sahara. And I have made some shapes already so that I'm ready to put this together. I have a 1/2 inch ball of clay. I have a 1/4 inch ball of clay. These measurements will all be in the blog post. Then I have 8 little segments of a snake, which I'm going to put these off to the side so I don't smush them, which I keep doing. So I want to make sure that they are in a safe spot. And these are about the diameter of a toothpick and about a little over a 1/4 inch long. And I have a small piece of parchment paper. I'm going to build my spider on the parchment paper. That will make him much easier to transfer to my baking surface and put him in the oven. Now roll your larger ball of clay out into kind of an oval shape and then flatten it onto your parchment paper so the bottom is flat and you've got kind of a dome shape. Then, let's put you in a little more in the middle, guy. All right, and then take your smaller ball of clay and put it on the front. Now we're not using any liquid clay today because we're using raw clay to raw clay. So we shouldn't need to have any liquid clay. Now, I found in playing around with this, it's easier to put the legs on if you use something like a ball stylus and kind of poke some little holes in the side, 4 on each side of your body here. I'm going to go ahead and do one side and then the other side. I'm going to try and turn this so that you guys can see what I'm doing. Kind of aiming the end of the snake into that hole. And I'm using my ball stylus. I'm going to try and do this, keep it under the camera and not have my head or my hair decide to pop into the camera view today. There we go. Take another one. Come on. It's sticking to my fingers. It's a little warm in here, so my fingers are warmer than normal, and the clay is deciding to be very sticky. I should have gotten my cornstarch before I started. Okay. When it doesn't work with your fingers, simply use the ball stylus. Oh, this is a ball stylus or a dotting tool, whatever you want to call it. They are nice and helpful when you are doing things with clay. And I am going to, I think, turn the camera off and go ahead and put the rest of my legs on. And when I get the rest of the legs on, I'll come back and we'll do some chalking. All right, there is our little spider, and you can make him more round. I made another one off camera that I used for pictures. I made him more round. I'll show you that here in a moment. But now we're going to chalk our spider. And we are going to use the same 3 chalks that we almost always use for baked goods. We have a yellow ochre, a reddish brown, and a brown. Put those off. I've used my craft knife, not my clay knife, but a craft knife, to shave it into one of these plastic palettes. And I have an eyeshadow brush that's stained but clean. So put this off to the side so that I can get into it. I'm going to start with the yellow ochre. And I'm going to brush pretty much all of our spider. Being careful because those little legs are kind of delicate. Now you could use a darker clay mix to make a pumpernickel style spider if you wanted to. Now I'm going to use the red brown. kind of burnish it in. And then just a little, just a little touch of that dark brown. Just barely brushing the top. Now you could, if you wanted to, if you set this up as a dip container and then at this point put this in the freezer, let it harden up and then carve a hole and texture the hole if you wanted to, or not texture it and fill it with something. The next thing I'm going to do is take my bottle stylus, take the smaller end, and I'm going to make a couple little holes, little dents. These are to represent his little eyes. I have another one I made off camera that I did, same size balls, it's just slightly different shape. That was the one I did so I could take pictures for the blog. So I am going to bake this at the recommended temperature for my clay since that larger piece is a little thick, I'm going to go 15 minutes. That way I know for sure that my clay is cured. If clay is not cured, it's not as strong and it could crumble or break apart for you. So I'm going to get this baked, cooled to room temperature, and we'll come back and look at our little spider bread. All right, here are our 2 loaves of bread, ready for the dolls to put them as the centerpiece on their Halloween party table. And I've got a little cutting board here. He fits perfectly. Wouldn't that be cute? I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, hit the like button, leave me a comment. What would you like to see in future tutorials? What are you wanting to learn to make for your dolls in your dollhouse? Be sure and check the blog post for photos, and I'll give you more about the dimensions and things like that over there. If you enjoy my content and haven't subscribed, I encourage you, hit that subscription button and the notification bell so you know when I put up a new video. Thank you very much for watching today, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!